I know how much you love the 80s and 80s movies, Constantina. So here's a list that Screen Rant did. It's at 1986 movies each Stranger Things main character would rent from the video store. Do you remember the video store?
I remember Blockbuster was the place to be.
How much money over the course of your video rental career did you rack up in non-rewinding fees?
The non-rewinding fees and the late fees, I got to admit, that was tough. But best place to be on a Friday night or a weekend night was Blockbuster.
You definitely don't have to rewind your Netflix movies.
You definitely
All right,
don't.
so this article goes through each main character. Now, I don't want you to peek at this because I want to kind of quiz you here.
Okay.
Because you love 80s movies.
The best.
You're a big fan of the 80s movies, the Back to the Futures, the Karate Kids, all that kind of thing.
All things 80s.
And I'm going to quiz you and go through each character and see if you can guess what movie they would say they would rent, or maybe just like what movie you think they would rent.
Okay.
Ready? I'm going to start with Steve. Number 10. Steve from Stranger Things. If he goes to the video store. Now, this is funny because he was talking about videos that he would rent when he went to get the job at the video store with Robin. And he was asking, like, the guy's like, shoot, favorite movies. And he had to, like, list off 3 of his favorite movies. And he was kind of bumbling.
Yeah, he had no idea.
So what do you think Steve would rent at the movies or at the video store if he was going to go rent a movie?
Is Steve watching movies is the question. I think Steve would pick Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
You're right. Well, you saw the list here.
No, I really didn't.
You didn't see the list?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, all right. I was going to say, yeah, they said Steve is going to pick Ferris Bueller's Day Off. He seems like a kind of guy that would like Ferris Bueller's Day Off, the hijinks in there.
No, I didn't see. I saw the list of movies. I didn't see the list of the movies linked to the character.
You didn't?
No.
Oh. It says, while it might just be because of Joe Carey's series of Domino's commercials parodying Ferris Bueller's Day Off via YouTube, which they have a link to, one can't help but feel as though Steve Harrington would feel a kinship with the titular Ferris. Is that how you say that?
Sure.
All right. Well, we're going to go with it. They're just two cool, laid-back guys who care deeply about their friends and are madly in love with their way smarter than them girlfriends.
I just like like him, the main character, and in that film, it's all about his trying to show his best friends like a great day.
Yeah, and Steve and Dustin's friendship is the best thing that happened to Stranger Things.
It's true.
All right, let's go to number 9. Number 9 is Nancy and Jonathan. They lump them into one category here, and the movie that they picked, I don't necessarily get. We'll have to see what they write about.
What are the choices of the movies?
I'm just going to name them because
Okay.
obviously there's a ton of 80s movies to go through, and they say Nancy and Jonathan are renting Aliens.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about this one. It says Aliens is often regarded as being one of the few film sequels to be considered on equal footing with, or perhaps even better than its original predecessor.
Although Nancy and Jonathan, really, it's like that story where they had a connection through fear that got them to date in a way.
Maybe that's it. It says their time working for the Hawkins Post shows the two know what it's like to experience traumatic things only to have their warnings ignored.
Okay.
Just like Ripley.
Sure.
I want to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I've ever watched the whole Aliens.
The movie?
Yeah.
You serious?
So when they say like Ripley, who's Ripley?
What about when you went on the great movie ride? Did you know it was happening?
I mean, I'm familiar with the movie Aliens, and I
okay.
am like aware of the movie Aliens, and I've seen parts of it, but I don't know if I've ever watched the whole thing from beginning to end.
Great movie.
All right, number 8 is Joyce. Now, Joyce is an older lady in the 80s. She's the mom, right? Your mom. She's an older lady. She's going to pick a movie, and they say she's going to pick Blue Velvet.
What is that?
No idea. David Lynch's Blue Velvet explores the twisted conspiracies that drive the dark underbelly of a quaint little town, and there might not be anyone more versed in such a subject than Joyce Byers. So it's about a movie about things that happen in a small town.
Ah, okay, that makes sense. I've never seen it.
Me either.
Okay.
And it looks like the lady from Goodfellas.
Mm-hmm.
That's the main character here by the photo on the blog post. Joyce has been involved in unmasking nearly every single shady dealing going on in the town of Hawkins, which is true. She kind of knows everything.
Yeah.
She should be a detective. She should be the chief of police there.
She's literally the best.
Yeah, because whether it's evil scientists or Soviet Russians or literally monstrous creatures, having embarked on this bizarre series of journeys due to her missing son, she would certainly relate to the missing child aspect of the plot.
It's all because of her mom gut. That's a real thing.
Her mom gut?
Her mom gut.
Number 7, Mike in 11. Now, I'm not familiar with this movie that they say either. They say Castle in the Sky. A young girl in her unique ability who has been abducted by the government, escapes and meets a boy whom she goes on an epic adventure with. While this obviously is the story of Eleven and her eventual boyfriend, Mike Wheeler, it's also the story of the early studio's Ghibli film, Castle in the Sky.
This is an animated film, right?
Yeah, this is an animated film.
Never seen it either, but I mean, it sounds exactly like what they went through, so.
We should watch these. Never mind, because some of these look boring.
Okay.
Number 6. This is an interesting one. Hopper. Who do you think Hopper is going to pick for a movie?
Well, I don't know. I think that.
It's got to be
no. Hopper would be, it was Beverly Hills Cop in the 90s or the 80s?
No, that Beverly Hills Cop original was in the 80s.
All right, so that's my answer.
Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah.
Not even close.
Oh, what did he pick?
They're saying he would pick Platoon, but I like your choice better. I honestly think that Beverly Hills Cop is a better choice or a better fitting for Hopper. Or he seems like an old Western kind of guy.
Now I'm Googling like when movies came out, so I know. Like, what about Die Hard? When did that come out? 1988.
Yeah, but this is happening in 86.
Oh.
So Die Hard didn't even come out until 88, so that wouldn't be one that he could pick.
Oh, gotcha.
I think Die Hard would definitely be one he would watch.
I'm just thinking 80s in general. I didn't realize we were just specifically being, obviously, when they would watch it.
What year did the movie you suggested come out?
Which one? Die Hard?
No, the one before that.
Beverly Hills
Cop. When did that come out?
Stand by while I Google it. 1984.
Yeah, so he would pick that. I agree. I think he'd pick Beverly Hills Cop over Platoon any day of the week.
Okay.
All right, next one. Lucas and Max.
Lucas and Max. All right, which one do they have?
They say they're going to rent The Karate Kid Part 2, though.
Oh. Wait, Part 2, okay.
It says Max and Lucas are one of the strongest Stranger Things couples, and they clearly care for each other deeply. But that doesn't mean one of them can't have eyes for a certain celebrity every now and then. Wait, what are they talking about?
I don't know.
Max reveals I get you. Max reveals while hanging out with Levin and her massive crush on Ralph Macchio, the Karate Kid. It's safe to say that soon as Karate Kid Part 2 was released on video, Max would be renting it, and Lucas would probably be keeping one suspicious eye on her the entire time they watched it.
Okay.
That's interesting. Why not the Karate Kid Part 1, though?
And how come I'm looking at this list right now, and I'm realizing, why isn't Back to the Future at any of these?
Back to the Future came out in 1985, right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Maybe we'll get to it. And then
it was playing when they were, right? When they were watching some of it.
Oh, yeah. They went to the movies, and it was on.
Yeah.
Or at least it was in the previews.
No, it was playing that day.
Well, they didn't go to watch Back to the Future. They went to go see some other scary movie.
Wait a minute. When Steve and Robin escaped the Russians, they went in the theater, and then they were watching, it was Back to the Future, and then they were confused afterwards because they still had that medicine in them.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And they were trying to theorize how it worked.
And they were trying to figure out what the mom is in that movie, and the son, and really
that was funny.
Okay.
Number 4, Will.
Will.
Stand By Me, they're saying Will's renting.
Stand By Me.
Will Byers has had it rough ever since moving to California, being separated from his friends by thousands of miles and pretty much losing any contact with them during the resulting time apart. Things weren't going great even before that, however, with the rest of the party more concerned about their girlfriends than playing D&D like they used to. Will would surely love the powerful friendship of the classic Stephen King adaptation Stand By Me, the film reminding him of a time when his friends were much closer. He always wanted that time back of playing Dungeons and Dragons with the boys in the basement.
True.
So that's a good pick.
Yeah.
Robin, it says Down by Law. Again, I don't know.
I've never seen that.
Neither do I. It looks like it's a black and white film, but it says Robin Buckley is easily considered one of Maya Hawke's best roles. Now, I haven't seen any other roles that she's been in, but she was great in this, for sure.
I'm looking at all the 80s movies online now. Like, I just went down a rabbit hole, and I'm looking at, like, Howard the Duck. There's some fun movies in the 80s.
There was some pretty fun movies.
Okay, sorry. Continue.
Best roles, as part because of how extremely multifaceted she is. She's equal parts twistedly cynical, positively radiant, and hopelessly romantic. It all adds to one truly fascinating person, one who would surely appreciate the offbeat black and white tale of 3 prisoners and their escape that is Down by Law. Okay?
I think she'd be picking, like, Pretty in Pink. Because Pretty in Pink, it's like there's the main character. I think, like, in the movie, she couldn't really get with the man she really wanted.
I feel like Robin would be more of a Breakfast Club kind of girl.
Ooh, yes. All right.
When did The Breakfast Club come out? Google that, Connie, while I go to the next one.
Breakfast Club. Okay, keep going.
Number 2, Dustin. Now, this is Dustin. They have this number 2. So people seem to like Dustin just as much as I do. And I think you're going to like this one a lot.
Okay.
They say Dustin is going to rent. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Labyrinth.
Oh, best movie ever.
You love Labyrinth.
Best movie ever.
Explain to me what the plot is, because I've never seen Labyrinth either.
Wait, you have sat next to me and watched, I think you have. No?
No, I didn't pay attention, at least.
Well, all I got to say is David Bowie is one of the main characters and is the main character, actually. And it's just a really great fantasy film about solving a labyrinth to this girl goes into a labyrinth to rescue her baby brother.
That's what it's about?
Yeah.
It says, Dustin Henderson is another one of Stranger Things' most complex characters, having a wide array of interests and hobbies. He clearly loves fantasy, like his friends, being an avid D&D player, yet he also seems to have quite a knack for music. If his impromptu duet, The Never-Ending Story, with his girlfriend Susie is any indication. Dustin would certainly love how Labyrinth manages to mix the elements of fantasy and music, and the film could supply him with some new songs to sing alongside his girlfriend Susie.
I 100% back this one up. I think this is really good for what they chose.
All right, number 1, Erica.
Erica.
You can't say America without Erica.
Erica rocks.
She is pretty good in this.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure about her in the beginning, but she grew on me.
Okay.
Erica Sinclair is going to rent The Color of Money.
Okay. I've never seen that, but I see that it stars Tom Cruise, and all I could think about was he's been around for a long time.
Tom Cruise has been around and looking the same for a long time. I'm pretty sure he's a robot.
He's an alien for sure.
If Erica Sinclair made one thing clear during season 3, it's she loved capitalism and money. The title "Color of Money" alone would probably be enough to draw Erica in, and she would probably get quickly hooked into the film's plot revolving around pool hustling. She seemed like a good hustler, right? Free ice cream for life. Erica might be one of the show's brave heroes, but she's also not above taking advantage of situations to profit for herself. She'd surely watch the film and come up with some new money-making ideas. So that's it. That's the list of 1986 movies that each Stranger Things character would rent. Now, I love doing these Stranger Things videos because I love the series, but I mean, hopefully the new season comes out quicker than the last one because I don't know how long we'll be able to talk about this.
I want to do my own list and not do the 1986. I think we should do like between 85 and 87 what we think that they would rent.
We should just do what's your favorite? Is Labyrinth your favorite movie from the 80s?
I have way too many favorite movies. No, and Labyrinth is probably it's hard to pick actually.
I don't think I really got into movies until the 90s, but I'd have to say if I had to pick one movie from the 80s that I enjoy watching a lot over and over, it's probably the Back to the Future series.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say first. I think that probably is at the top of my list, especially because it's a movie that we can all watch as a family. I know Labyrinth, 2 out of 3. I can't get everybody into it usually, but there's so many movies in the 80s. It's the Back to the Future, E.T., The Goonies, Labyrinth.
I mean, even movies like Indiana Jones, I like.
Yeah.
And like that first one came out in 1981, The Raiders of the Lost Ark. So I do enjoy some 80s movies. I'm not into all 80s movies, but some I enjoy.
I know your favorite.
Which one?
Troop Beverly Hills.
The best ever.
That's probably that's probably my all-time favorite, but it's just I get embarrassed to really say it a lot. Although they're talking about a sequel.
Of that?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, they're coming out with sequels for everything. All right, thank you so much for tuning in. Here's the question of the show. What 80s movies are your favorite? Maybe if you're not born before the 80s, you don't remember them, but if you are a classic 80s movies watcher, which ones from the 80s are your favorite movies? Drop them in the comments below wherever you're watching this video, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye, everybody.